All right, so in this video, we're going to briefly go over how to set up co-op for all advancements. So if you haven't already figured out how to set up co-op in the first place, you should go do that first. I'm sure there are pre-existing tutorials. I haven't checked. Hopefully they exist. But basically, you want to make sure that when somebody hosts a Minecraft server, you can connect to it, right? When you click open to LAN, that somebody else can connect to that LAN server. Once you have that set up, you're going to do whatever you did for that, and then you're going to do it for this as well. But I'm going to show you because there's a few little extra things that you're going to have to do. For the quick demonstration, we're going to assume you're using bore.pub. Seems to be pretty popular these days. However, it does have some downsides, so we'll get to that in a little bit. But we're just going to do a quick demo first. So let's say you're using bore.pub. And you've gone to their GitHub page here and you're trying to figure out how to set this up properly. I don't want to bother setting this up, but I'm just going to show you the sort of thing you might do. So if you're the server host, you might do something like this. And then this would run. I assume that this isn't going to work, because I don't have bore installed. Let's not worry about that. So you would do something like this, and then bore is going to give you a bore.pub address, right? So maybe it's going to give you bore.pub : 12345, right? Really fantastic. So you've bored to your local port 5000, which I guess is where you're hosting Minecraft for some reason. So you'd normally do like 25565 here as the server host. And you've bored into this and you've gotten something out. And it says something like bore.pub : 12345. And you're like, okay, that's great. So this is where you're located right now. And this is how other people can connect to you. And if you've set things up properly, somebody else, you'll go and you'll click open to LAN and somebody else will go here and they'll click in, bore.pub : 12345, and they'll be able to connect to your Minecraft server. Pretty simple. Anyways, so basically what bore.pub here is doing is that it's opening like a reverse tunnel to allow somebody to connect into your specific application. So I'm going to cover more networking stuff hopefully later in this video real quick. But for this, I do need to mention basically the way that networking works is that one port equals one application, generally speaking. So when you do this and you follow your tutorial video or whatever to set up your Minecraft instance for co-op, this is getting you one application exposed to the internet. And that application is Minecraft. Obviously, you want to expose both AA tool and Minecraft to the internet. So we have to do the exact same thing for AA tool. All right, so whatever you've done to get your bore.pub working or your ngrok or whatever it is to work for Minecraft, you're going to do the same thing for this, right? So maybe you'll make another port forward, maybe you'll start another bore.pub instance, etc. And the only case where you don't have to set up like another thing externally is if you're using a VPN, something like Hamachi. Everybody's on the same network, right? So they're just going to input your IP address for the AA tool like server location. So for you as the host of the server, right, you're going to go in here and you're going to set your password. This is all like pretty self-explanatory. You're going to set the port. This is going to be whatever port you're going to set your AA tool to be exposed at on your PC, right? So let's say you're going to do 1777, right? And then you're going to set the IP address. So the thing is, I'm not really sure why there's, I guess we should switch to the server mode. I don't really know why this button's here. I'm sure there's a reason. Generally speaking though, you're gonna wanna put in 127.0.0.1. And so 127.0.0.1 in most cases is going to be your local IP address. So it's going to bind to your local IP. And if a packet gets to your computer with port 1777, I guess that's overcomplicated terminology, but don't worry about it. If this packet gets to your PC with 1777, then this is going to all be good, right? So let's say you're hosting it like this. You're going to click host. Pretty simple. And now you're in host mode and you're hosting and you've got a bunch of log messages here. By the way, if you ever have issues with this and you're asking, say, an AA cord or something like that, or you're DMing someone, make sure you send all this information, right? I would personally just screenshot the entire thing. And then if you do that, it's really easy to figure out the issue because you can see all the error messages, that kind of thing. So we're going to stop. So remember, you have to click host to start hosting. You click stop to stop hosting. Is all when you're on the network type server. So let's say that this is me, right? I've started my 127.0.0.1, 1777, A tool experience server, whatever. You're going to be in PowerShell, right? Because you want everybody else to be able to connect to you. And you're going to do something like bore local. And so we said that we're going to host our local instance of AA tracker on 1777. So that's going to be the IP you want to expose to the internet with bore or with ngrok, or again, if you're setting up like a port forward, this would be the destination and the port forward, right? Because external packets need to get to your PC with port 1777. And then we're going to do the same old thing with bore.pub. This is just how you do a bore.pub setup, unless you're hosting your own, which I would personally encourage for security reasons. And you're going to do this, and it's going to give you something like bore.pub : 991, right? Great. So you're going to be like, okay, that's fantastic. So everybody else wants to connect to bore.pub 9991, right? Sounds pretty obvious. So they're going to go in here and they're going to say, okay, so we're going to switch to the client type, and you're hosting this. You've started this over here, right? And they're going to connect to you. They're going to set their password. That's all really simple. They're going to set the port, right? 9991. So again, it's not the same port as you because your port is only your local port. When you expose something with bore, you get a different port. Well, unless like statistically improbable, you could get the same port, but it's basically just a random number between 1 and like 65,000. So they're going to put in that port here. And then this, when they try to connect, right, it's going to go to bore.pub, and bore.pub is going to be like, oh, this port maps to your local instance on your computer. And it's going to send it all the way there to your 1777 host. But we're the client right now, so we got to put in this. And you're going to go and say, okay, well, that's really simple. We're going to put in bore.pub. Oops, my bad. And you're going to click connect, and you're going to get this error message because it's an IP formatting error. A-tool only takes actual IP addresses. It does not take domain names. Bore.pub is a domain, okay? So bore.pub is not a series of numbers delimited by dots, sorry. So it's not an IP address, pretty simple. You're gonna say, oh no, it's over for me, what can I do? No, it's really simple to fix. This goes for anything, anytime this happens, you can just figure out the IP address, okay? So bore.pub is a service that's hosted at an IP address. It's just that when you connect to bore.pub, normally applications will perform what's called name resolution. They'll ask a server for what the IP address of bore.pub is, and you can just do that manually. So we can just go NSLOOKUP on Windows, and you can figure out how to do this. It's not that complicated. Just Google how to get the IP address of a domain in case it changes, but it probably won't change. You can probably just type in the one from this video. You're going to copy paste this, right? Non-authoritative answer, and this is going to be the answer. This is where bore.pub is. And then you're going to go ahead and say, okay, as my client, I'm going to connect bore.pub 9991, blah, 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 blah. Click connect. It's not going to work for me because, of course, there is no bore.pub, there is no A tool behind bore.pub : 9991 right now. But if there was, we would probably be able to connect in A tool. Okay, so that's great, right? This is all fantastic. And yeah, I hope this makes sense and you understand how this works. Now we're going to cover how networking actually works, how all of this actually works a little bit more correctly, and hopefully you'll be able to solve problems yourself, like this problem, which is because I'm not running bore, so obviously this doesn't work at all because none of this is correct. Anyways, let's quickly cover how bore works. So, well, actually how all this stuff works. Okay, so here's the thing, right? You are on, or how does this work? There we go. Here's the thing, right? This is your local network, and this is your computer. Let's say your computer is, I don't know, 192.168.1.7, right? And this is your computer, right? And the thing is that there's not enough. This is your IP address, right? If you try to figure out your IP address really easily, you might run into this. You'll have a 192.168 or 10.10 or 10.0 or whatever, something like that. And you're going to be like, okay, if you don't know anything about networking, you're like, this is my address. That's fantastic. But that's not actually the case. The issue is that the entire internet is really large, and you can't make a lot of these IPv4 addresses, right? The number of numbers that you can make here is kind of small. This is what's referred to as a local IP address. And the thing is that your local network, the entire thing has one address usually for the global internet. I don't actually know if I made this box big enough. Let's see. So maybe your full address is going to be 9.7.1.3. This is not your full address, but let's say it is because I didn't want to type a lot of numbers. So this is your actual address, but the thing is that this address works for all the computers on your network, right? But not quite, because if somebody's on the internet, right, and they're trying to connect to you, they're going to try and connect to this IP address, and this IP address is your router, and it's going to be like, okay, no, right? It's that simple, right? So let's say somebody else is like, let's say you start a Minecraft, a local Minecraft instance here, and you're running Minecraft. It's fantastic, and you click open to LAN, right? So now you're hosting on this, right? You're hosting, your LAN is like here. Now, if somebody else's Minecraft is over here, and it's a beautiful circle, and they put in this address here, and they're like, hey, I want to connect to this server. Your router is not going to send this information to your computer. It's just going to like chill here. And then it's going to go back and say, hey, I don't know what Minecraft is, and I'm sorry, but you can't connect to the server. And you'll have errors, and you'll be really sad here, right? You're going to be really sad. So what you need to do is you have to open some way. You have to make some way to connect between your Minecraft instance here and this person who's trying to connect to your server here. Okay. And the way this works, well, there's a variety of ways to do this. Actually, there's an entire like field of technology to do this. The easiest way to do this in terms of like just step one, let's just get this going, let's not install external applications, is to go to your router's page, right? Your configuration page for your router, and add a port forward. And conveniently, I've already opened a tutorial page for this. So nordvpn.com, this is not a sponsored video, but you can go to something like nordvpn.com and search how to open ports in your router. What you're going to do is that, Minecraft is running over here. Minecraft is on your computer, right? It's on your machine. It's running under a certain port. And what you're going to do is you're going to configure some way to say, hey, if the router receives data on, say, port 71, send it to my computer on port 25565, okay? And then when somebody over here says, hey, I want to connect to Minecraft server at 9.7.1.3, this is just how you input ports, 71, right? This is going to come all the way, this data, if you send this here, once you've opened a port, right? This data is going to come all the way here. The router is going to say, oh, I was already told that any data coming to port 71 goes to port 25565 over here. And that, of course, on your computer, you're hosting Minecraft at that port. So this data goes to Minecraft and then it works, right? That's fantastic. And now the thing is that the same thing works for any application that's networked, and that includes a tool. So this IP address, let's not talk about how this works, but basically a tool wants to know what address it's accessible at. It might actually work if you input like bad values in here. I'm not going to lie. I haven't tested it. So you never know. Networking can be weird sometimes. But basically, it wants to know where it is. But then if you're connecting as a client, you need to do the exact same thing, right? Like we have this here, your client, so you input something like this, right? It's the same thing where your computer is here, right? Your A tool instance is here on the big, wide internet. And you want to connect to this application over here on somebody's computer. It's the same thing where you have to figure out the IP address they're available at and the port that the application is hosted on, but that's not publicly available because it's behind the firewall, it's behind your router, right? So of course, well, it's behind NAT actually. It's not a firewall, it's NAT. But let's not talk about that. It's overcomplicated already. But basically the point is networking is kind of ugly. So you need to bridge things in. You can't just host the server and have somebody connect. You have to bridge things. You have to add a port forward, or you have to host something like bore, which what bore does is basically you connect to the server and somebody else connects to the server, and this server here, bore.pub server, sends data back to you. It forwards the data when they try to connect to you, essentially. Really useful tool. Another tool you can use is Hamachi. Some people this is probably like the most tutorialed one in Minecraft co-op. I have no idea, to be honest, because again, I haven't watched any tutorial videos, but just keep in mind that it's free for up to 5 computers in a network. So if you want to do co-op with more than 5 people, you can't use this. However, if you're doing co-op with 5 or fewer people, Hamachi is really great, because the thing is that with Bore, if I go and I say, where's my PowerShell instance? I'll find it eventually. If I go and I do, bore dot or whatever, what was the command? It's up here somewhere. Yeah. So if I do this bore command, basically what I'm telling Bore is that, hey, can you make it so that anybody connecting, if anybody anywhere in the entire world says bore.pub, connect me to bore.pub 123. Well, actually not 123. It's whatever you get back. So we're going to say maybe you get 1 back from this. This will forward to my computer, 12356. That's what you're telling it where the destination is, right? So anybody who says, hey, bore.pub:1, connect to my computer 12356, you're letting anybody connect to your computer, right, for free. So this is like port forwarding, but it's almost worse because the thing is, there's only 65,535, whatever. I'm not doing the math in my head. The point is, there's not that many ports. So it's very easy to port scan bore.pub and find out who's hosting what on what bore.pub address, or port rather. And for example, like grief your Minecraft servers. So you might have seen clips of people doing that. This is just an inherent problem to using the public bore.pub because it's very easy for people to find your Minecraft server, especially if it's just like there's no whitelist or anything because it's open to LAN. You can't do anything about it. So Hamachi is definitely the best way to do this. You're basically creating a VPN, a virtual private network, and the way that works is that it's like everybody. Oh my goodness, where's paint? It's like you're basically making it so that everybody is within this box, right? So everybody you allow into the box is in here, and then all of a sudden when they put in 192.168.117, well, you're inside the box, so it just goes straight here, right? You're not blocked off by the router. That's how VPNs work. This is like the simplest possible explanation. And by doing that, everybody else, if somebody's trying to grief your server, they're trying to find it because you're not port forwarding. You're using a VPN. When they try to connect, they can't because it's still blocked by your router. You didn't port forward. You're just all safe and cozy in your local network, essentially. But yeah, Hamachi, definitely the best solution. But if you can't do that, I would personally recommend almost like self-hosting Bore. But in any case, we're really getting off topic here. The point of this was to show you how this works, and we covered it at the start of the video. And hopefully it's all good. Just again, remember, if you're a client or if you're a server, you have to click host to get it to start hosting. If you're a client, you have to click connect. Honestly, this isn't that complicated. So I guess I was kind of lost what to put in this video. But I guess we found some things. So hopefully this is useful. If not, my sincerest apologies. Yeah.